We've got new insight to the state of the WA job market with fresh figures from the Bureau of Statistics. The top 5 industries in the past year are wholesale trade, healthcare, hospitality, education and financial services, creating more than 40,000 new positions. But other industries are going backwards. Retail, transport, mining, professional and corporate services and public administration are also seeing thousands of job losses. So for a deeper breakdown, I'm joined by employment expert Conrad Liveris. Hi there, Conrad.
Hey.
Now, firstly, talk us through the biggest surprises here.
I think one of the really interesting things for Western Australia is that the economy is doing what it's supposed to do. After a couple of years of pretty turbulent and often negative times, it's really on track. It's growing in the right areas and in a really stable sort of way. So we're seeing growth in industries that are, they're not volatile. So the jobs being created now aren't likely to be lost anytime soon, which is really important.
So what jobs are those that you're talking about, though?
So I'm talking about especially this healthcare sort of area. So we're really seeing a lot in these sort of areas that, there's slow growth over a really long period of time. And so they're not like the mining jobs that we saw during the boom, which as soon as, wheels were up, everyone lost their job. It's slower than that. And so it's going to be, they're not going to go really.
Okay. Now these figures show blue collar and industrial industries are going backwards. So what does that say then about the economy?
Yeah, and that's really frustrating because, we're hearing a lot from the federal government, especially about defence industry around Kwinana and things like that. And so there's either a lag in the creation of those sort of jobs or they're just not going to be created. We're probably a little bit too early to make that sort of assumption yet. But these are global trends in these sort of industries. The automation is a really big one here. So, jobs are kind of not being created in those sort of areas, even though there's a lot of activity there.
Okay. Is it particularly bad news for the retail industry?
Yeah. And this is one of the interesting things because while consumer spending is down across the nation, it is particularly down in WA, and that has a lot to do with the amount of household debt that we're seeing across the state. So we're not spending as much on luxuries, and that's what's driving pretty substantial losses in those sort of areas.
Okay. Unfortunately, we're going to have to leave it there. Conrad Liveris, thanks very much for the insight this afternoon.
Thanks.